seems like a nice guy, and he just exudes macho.
Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Yes, sir.
Yes, have some.
All right, welcome to it. The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. That listen live link is in the top right corner, as always, and we are also streaming live on the YouTube channel. Very easy to find on YouTube. Nation of Jake, one word, Nation of Jake. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Tell your friends to do the same. You can also follow me on Facebook and on Twitter at Nation of Jake on this Wednesday, September 25th, year of our Lord, 2019. Cloudy, 87 degrees, high about 90. Another one like this tomorrow, and then it gets hot again.
No! God, please, no!
I'm sick of it. I don't want to wear my hoodies outside. I'm ready for some cold, wet weather. I'm ready for the leaves to fall, and I'm just going to let them fall. I'm not going to suck them up in a vacuum. I'm sure as hell not going to rake them and bag them. I'm going to let them all fall, and then one harrowing weekend this winter, maybe in January, I'll get them all up, and we'll just do this once. Because I got 3 giant oak trees in my front yard, and they got those little leaves that are hard to wrangle up. You know, big fat leaves are fine. They're crunchy. Kids like to jump in them. These things are dense, and they get in these big, heavy bunches, and then it rains, and it gets to be a really big mess. So, on second thought, I'm fine with the warm weather sticking around. Let's just keep it like this the rest of the year, and I'll be okay with it. All right, well, quite a bit on impeachment on the program today. We're going to talk about the whole process. Impeachment being a political process and not a criminal proceeding. It's very important that we start there. We will get into that, kind of the ins and outs of impeachment, of course, because of this false impeachment inquiry. This is a phony baloney call for impeachment of the president. We'll get into why that is as well. And we will talk about different scenarios. Should the president be impeached for real? What will it take? And do the Democrats have the guts to go on record and impeach this president? We shall see. Also, there's a different Ukrainian scandal that nobody is talking about that I think is very important that we need to bring up on the program. This one is truly bonkers. I mean, there are different Ukrainian scandals going on, controversies all around about the Ukraine. Who thought that the Ukraine would be so consequential in year of our Lord 2019? Well, the politics side is just one part of it. The other side is truly terrifying. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Hey, the ratings are in on Bluff City Law, the NBC legal drama set here in Memphis, debuted on Monday night. Now, the ratings were big in Memphis, and one mayoral candidate is taking advantage of that. Plus, we'll talk about the controversy surrounding the new Joker movie that is hitting theaters, I believe next week. I believe the Joker comes out next week, and Joaquin Phoenix, who plays the titular funny man, he is facing all kinds of questions about the movie and how controversial. Could it drive people to be Jokers themselves? We'll also do the news cruise, so plenty to get to and more here in the Nation of Jake. Well, today is the day. Now, we've been talking about it all week. There's been quite the buildup. The transcript of President Donald Trump's call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has been released. Now, this Ukraine call transcript shows that Trump sought a Biden probe, asked about DNC server, but made no mention of U.S. aid. Now, the story, cited by 2 anonymous sources, I believe in the Washington Post, the 2 anonymous sources cited an anonymous whistleblower who heard about the call. The whistleblower filed a complaint, and the Washington Post reported that Donald Trump made a promise, an inappropriate promise, to the president of the Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. So that's how we got here. We got the bombshell. A whistleblower says Donald Trump was engaged in a quid pro quo, that he was going to withhold aid to the Ukraine unless they agreed to investigate Joe Biden and his son Hunter Biden, a fired prosecutor, and a quid pro quo on their side, on the Biden side, on part of Joe Biden to protect his son, Hunter Biden, who was reaping the benefits and being paid $50,000 a month by some sort of Ukrainian oil company. Okay? So that was the whole deal. Donald Trump asked for Ukraine to dig up dirt on Joe Biden, and he withheld military aid until they agreed to do it. That was it. That was going to be it. That was the story, right? The whole quid pro quo. So the Democrats, on this story sourced by anonymous people, or by the Washington Post with anonymous sources, with a whistleblower who wasn't there, they decide, hey, we're going to go ahead and launch a formal impeachment inquiry into the president. As soon as Nancy Pelosi announces they will be launching this formal impeachment inquiry, Donald Trump says, hey, we're going to release the transcripts. Well, what's in the transcript exactly? Well, Donald Trump admitted he wanted the Ukraine to look into Biden. That's no surprise here. The White House on Wednesday released a transcript of President Trump's July phone call with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, showing him seeking a review of Biden family dealings in the country. What the document does not show, Trump explicitly leveraging military aid is part of a quid pro quo, as Democrats have suggested in pressing forward with impeachment. Now, to be sure, if Donald Trump did try to leverage military aid as part of a quid pro quo, a this for that agreement for Ukraine to dig up dirt on a political opponent, it would be really bad. But it's not in there. The document, declassified by Trump a day earlier, indicates the call, which Trump made from the White House residence, took place July 25th from 9:03 a.m. to 9:33 a.m., so half an hour, just a 30-minute call. A notation on the memo says it does not represent a verbatim transcript, but is based on notes and recollections of those listening and memorializing the call. It is presented in transcript form. And this is how all those transcripts are done, unless it is actually recorded and then later transcribed from recording. The memo begins with the president congratulating Zelensky on his election victory before Trump eventually broaches the subject of former Vice President Joe Biden and his son Hunter. He says there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden stopped the prosecution of a lot of people want to find out, so whatever you can do with the attorney general would be great, Trump said in a phone call. Biden went around bragging that he stopped the prosecution, so if you can look into it, sounds horrible to me. That refers to Joe Biden, while vice president, urging Ukraine to fire its top prosecutor, Viktor Shokin, while Shokin was investigating the natural gas firm Burisma Holdings, where Hunter Biden was on the board. Biden has maintained that corruption concerns prompted his intervention. Trump, in the run-up to the transcript's release, was accused by Democrats of essentially pressuring a foreign power to investigate a political opponent, as Biden is now a top contender for the 2020 Democrat presidential nomination. What we have here in this transcript doesn't seem like it rises to the level of impeachable offenses. Maybe you can say, listen, just Donald Trump being on the phone in the position that he's in, merely suggesting that the president of the Ukraine carry out this investigation into Joe Biden, maybe that in and of itself constitutes a quid pro quo, just because of the dynamic. You've got the U.S., which provides a lot of military aid and other aid to countries like the Ukraine. It's almost like when you read about these stories of harassment. You know, women who say, listen, he didn't say that I wouldn't get the part if I didn't sleep with him. Let's say Harvey Weinstein. But he was in the position of power. He didn't have to say it. You see what I'm saying? And quid pro quo is pretty much, that's the way the world works, isn't it? What are you going to do for me? I mean, doesn't the federal government mandate that, states carry out their business a certain way or they will withhold federal funds? I mean, haven't we seen this with presidents? We saw it with the Vice President Joe Biden. He, on tape, told the story about, hey, I'm not going to give you $1 billion unless you fire that prosecutor. You got 6 hours. And as he said, well, son of a bitch, he was fired just like that 6 hours later. And we heard it with President Barack Obama, caught on a hot mic, telling, I guess, Medvedev at the time, He says, tell Mr. Putin, I need some flexibility. I'll have more flexibility after the upcoming election on this missile stuff. So I mean, we've seen this before. Does it rise to the level that this is a high crime and misdemeanor? Listen, I don't know what the standard is for an impeachment trial. I mean, it's not a criminal trial. It's a political process. It's a political trial. All right, it's determined by the House and then the Senate. But you got to find beyond a reasonable doubt that Donald Trump committed high crimes and misdemeanors, and I don't know if it's there. However, just like with any kind of political story, people who like Donald Trump will say nothing there, nothing burger. President did nothing wrong. There was no quid pro quo. End of story. The Democrats are just out to get him. They've been screaming about impeachment since the man was elected, not even yet sworn in. They wanted to impeach him over everything. These people have impeachment Tourette's. All they do is say, impeach, impeach. He cut taxes, impeach. Oh, it's just part of this ongoing denial of the 2016 election results. On the other side of things, Democrats are saying about this transcript, oh my God, it's worse than we thought. This is worse than we imagined. Now, there might not be a direct quid pro quo in there, but you have the Ukrainian president saying things about defense, and Donald Trump saying, oh, well, we need a favor, though. Well, in that and of itself, you might think, oh, there's the quid pro quo. Well, in that exchange that will be bandied about in the media, he's not talking about Biden when he says, I need a favor, though. He's saying, we need you to investigate this CrowdStrike thing. There's been this ongoing investigation into election meddling on part of Russia and Ukraine. And now there was a organization called CrowdStrike, which was related to both the DNC and Google, and it was funded by a Ukrainian billionaire. So he was talking about the ongoing election meddling investigation. When he says we need a favor, though, it wasn't until a separate part of the call when Donald Trump started bringing up Joe Biden and the firing of the prosecutor who was looking into the Burisma company that Hunter Biden was serving on the board. People are speculating that Hunter Biden was only put on the board of that company to peddle influence, the influence of his father, right? And so this is going to end up being a lot worse for Joe Biden, who is seeing his frontrunner status in the 2020 presidential election waning. Elizabeth Warren is hot on his tail. But above all, this is political theater. This is the theater. Because right now, Democrats are doing the sales job. They've already committed to this impeachment thing. They're going to launch an inquiry. It's a phony baloney inquiry, only because an official impeachment inquiry would start with passing the articles of impeachment. And they've got 200 some odd Democrats of the 235 who have committed to it, but they need all 235 Democrats plus 55 Republicans. They need 290 votes to pass the articles of impeachment in the House, and they don't have those votes. They don't have those votes, and they're not going to put it to a vote. So what Nancy Pelosi has done is she is just putting her weight behind these investigations that Jerry Nadler and the Judiciary Committee are doing, and that is masquerading as the impeachment inquiry, because there is no, as it stands, articles of impeachment that have been passed in the House. And there won't be, especially after this comes out. Now they're going to say, well, the transcript's out, and it's not a perfect transcript, and yeah, there's no quid pro quo there, but we need the whistleblower complaint now. Donald Trump has actually said, yes, we're going to release the whistleblower complaint as well. But tell me, what is going to be in the whistleblower complaint that's not in the transcript? Especially given that the whistleblower admits that they weren't even there. They're trying to blow somebody else's whistle, and you can't do that without consent, because that is sexual assault. That's said. But it's not a quid pro quo thing, right? So yeah, it's all theater. What it really comes down to is if you're going to impeach the president, and you've already come out and said it, at this point, Nancy Pelosi, she cannot go back. She can't go Emily Latella and say, never mind. Can't happen. And this is a woman who has gone on record as saying how much she hates impeachment. She absolutely hates it. Cannot stand impeachment. Oh, what are you saying here there in 1998? Oh, yeah, that's right. This is back when Republicans loved impeachment, when Bill Clinton was president, and when Democrats hated it. It's so funny how things change over time. Here's Pelosi in 98.
Right now we have a situation where any and all grievances that anybody ever had with the president are being heaped on and talking about impeachment without even defining what the laws may have been that were broken, with applying the facts to them without even defining even if those laws were broken, if that amounts to an impeachable offense.
Amazing. Amazing what she just said. I mean, if you just said this was today, then what's she advocating for? Listen to that again. I mean, because this applies to today.
Right now we have a situation where any and all grievances that anybody ever had with the president are being heaped on and talking about impeachment without even defining what the laws may have been that were broken, with applying the facts to them without even defining even if those laws were broken, if that amounts to an impeachable offense.
That's right. But yesterday she came out and said, yeah, we're going to get behind an official impeachment inquiry without knowing exactly what happened. She didn't have all the facts. The transcript wasn't out. The whistleblower complaint wasn't out. Nothing was out. It's an excuse for anybody who has had any grievances, any and all grievances that they've ever had with Donald Trump. They want him impeached. They want to impeach the MF. In fact, she, in a clip today, here's Nancy Pelosi today. She admits she hasn't read the transcript, but that doesn't stop her from saying, oh, yeah, we're going to go ahead and impeach.
I haven't seen it, so I've just come from our own meeting. But the transcript is, the fact is that the President of the United States, in breach of his constitutional responsibilities, has asked a foreign government to help him in his political campaign at the expense of our national security, as well as undermining the integrity of our elections.
Okay, so she came to that conclusion without having read it, without having read the transcript. She's like, I haven't read it yet. I just got out of a meeting, but it doesn't change anything. It does change everything. But yeah, another bombshell that hasn't exploded. But we'll find out because now it's the sales job. The sales job is on. Oh, yeah, forget there was no quid pro quo. It doesn't matter. It wasn't ever about the quid pro quo. It absolutely was. It can't be. Listen, I don't know what the standard is for an impeachment trial, okay? But it can't be. It can't be, this guy does shady stuff and we don't like him. We got flimsy evidence of shady dealings. It needs to be something about, now we've got proof beyond a reasonable doubt that this guy committed high crimes and misdemeanors. Not, we've got some hearsay that the guy did something that we don't like. And that's not going to do it. Again, I'm no attorney. I'm no expert with regards to impeachment. We'll see exactly how this is all going to work. Should the president be impeached in a little bit, we'll get back into it. But there's a bigger Ukrainian scandal out there I want to talk about in a while. But coming up next, I want to talk about Carson King. I had no idea who Carson King was before he got canceled. And that's right, Carson King. This guy did some bad tweets when he was 16, and he's been canceled. You'll never believe it when I actually tell you who Carson King is. And we'll tell you who he is next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs, those little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
Planning for retirement can be confusing and overwhelming. Tune in to the Servant Retirement Show to hear the current news and events today's retirees need to know. Every Saturday morning at 8 on KWAM, The Voice, AM 990. If you want to talk to Dan Groban or Philip Menard today about your retirement plans, call the team at Servant Advisors Group, 855-260-1000. That's 855-260-1000. Get started on the path toward a comfortable retirement today. 855-260-1000.
Design Jewelers in Bartlett is renowned for being the best in custom jewelry since 1988. But did you know they also do jewelry repair? That's right. If you need size fixing, ring setting, stone tightening, chain or watch repair, stop by Design Jewelers at 3135 Kirby Whitten Parkway. Their combination of expertise and customer service cannot be found anywhere else. That's Design Jewelers in Bartlett, 3135 Kirby Whitten Parkway.
Hey, are you pregnant and need health insurance?
Yes, I'm really in need of insurance.
Have you heard of the TennCare Presumptive Prenatal Program?
No, what is that?
It's a program where pregnant women can get 62 days of temporary Medicaid insurance coverage.
Wow, I didn't know about that. Thanks.
For more information regarding the TennCare Presumptive Prenatal Program, contact the Shelby County Health Department at 901-545-8722 or log on to shelbytnhealth.com. Funding for this was provided by the Tennessee Department of Health.
If you're a baby boomer here in the Mid-South area, this message is for you. We've designed a brand new radio show with you in mind. It's The Retirement Income Doctor, hosted by Dave McAdams of the McAdams Group. Each week, Dave will teach you retirement strategies that have worked year after year, decade after decade in any kind of market. That's right, the Retirement Income Doctor will teach you these strategies. So join us Saturday mornings at 10 for the Retirement Income Doctor.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. We're streaming live on YouTube, the YouTube channel, Nation of Jake. One word, run it all together, Nation of Jake. Facebook, Twitter, at Nation of Jake. All right, so I was on Twitter last night, and I started seeing this name, Carson King. No idea who it was. And I was like, all right, Carson King. It says he's been canceled. Oh, he got done in by his bad tweets from some 8 years ago. Something like that, 6-8 years ago. I don't know, he was young. But we've seen it before. We've seen people done in by the old tweets. They dig up tweets. Oh, Kyler Murray, the quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals. We've seen some baseball players be haunted by their old tweets. Hell, right here in the Battle Mayoral, which is next week. Tammy Sawyer, the candidate for mayor of Memphis, she had to answer for some controversial tweets from yesteryear. Now, she didn't get canceled. It's a little bit different also when you're running for mayor and when your bad tweets were when you were 27. But when your bad tweets when you were 16 and you say you're not running for mayor, well, it's a little bit different. Now who's Carson King? See, I was like, okay, is this guy some sort of YouTube star? Is Carson King a singer? I don't know. Like, I'm out of that whole, young people. If somebody's on The Voice, I don't know who it is. If somebody's on America's Got Talent, I have no idea who they are. I just don't. And, I'm not proud of it. I'm not saying, oh, yeah, I'm an exert, I'm getting old, and I have no idea who anybody is. I'm so cool, right? No, I'm ignorant. That said, I did some research. Found out that Carson King is a regular old kid. Well, he's a guy. He's a grown-up, 22, I guess, from Iowa. And so the story goes like this. A young Iowan named Carson King went viral after being photographed at a football game, I guess on game day. On college game day where people always make signs, like, funny signs. And they hold them up, and these people take photos and they go viral, and all the good signs go viral, and it's fun. They make T-shirts of them, whatever it is. It's just fun stuff, fan stuff. So this guy from Iowa, I guess he goes to Iowa State. He held up a sign asking people to send him money for more Busch Light beer, and he put his Venmo handle on there so people could send him money for more beer. Just a fun sign. I'm thinking that he held it up as a joke, not thinking anybody would send him beer money. However, he brought in more than $1 million on his Venmo account. Imagine that. You go up to College Game Day and you hold up a sign that says, I need money to buy more Busch Light beer. People are probably like, oh, this poor bastard. Number one, he's poor. He drinks Busch Light beer. Who drinks Busch Light beer? This kid needs money. And enough people throw in $1, throw in $5, whatever, till it gets to $1 million. You know what Carson King does with that $1 million? He donated it to a children's hospital. So, hey, it seems like a pretty good guy, right? Pretty good story. Until the media, the Des Moines Register, a good old newspaper out there in Des Moines, Iowa, they decide to do a little profile on Carson King. Oh, who is the young man who got $1 million in beer money? And he was so magnanimous, so charitable, so philanthropic, decided to donate all of it to a children's hospital. He could have kept a few grand. He could have kept half. Life-changing money. He would have had to pay taxes on it, sure, but still. And for that amazing act of charity, giving that $1 million to a children's hospital, he had to be destroyed. That's right, he had to be destroyed. A reporter at the Des Moines Register, Aaron Calvin, profiled Carson King. And towards the end of the profile, Calvin just mentioned that the paper had uncovered 2 racist jokes from King's Twitter account dating back to 2012 when King was 16 years old and still in high school. That's right. That's right. Look, it doesn't matter if you were 16, you were in high school. What was that, 7 years ago? So this guy's 22, 23 years old, still in college, still young. And so I think that he made a couple of tweets that referenced something that was on Tosh.0. On Tosh.0, the old show on Comedy Central where Daniel Tosh, the comedian, would break down viral videos and whatnot. So they uncovered all those stones, and they found out that, hey, this charitable young man who found himself with an extra $1 million and donated it to a children's hospital, well, he must be destroyed. He must be canceled. Because before, they dug up the old tweets that he wrote when he was 16 years old. Busch Light, in their parent company, Anheuser-Busch, they were putting him on beer cans. Yeah, they were going to put Carson King, his face on a beer can, Iowa legend, and give him free beer for a year. And so Anheuser-Busch was like, this is the kind of guy we want to associate ourselves with, until the tweets come out. Now, King expressed shock over the tweets and apologized for them. He probably had forgotten about them altogether. Busch Light's parent company, AB InBev, Anheuser-Busch InBev, said it will sever ties with King. They will still match his pledge to the children's hospital, though. So, a guy donated $1 million to a children's hospital. So his local newspaper dug up some bad tweets from when he was a teenager. He did a good thing. He gained national attention for it. And then the media had to put him in his place. Say, no. This young man, when he was a child, he made some ill-advised jokes that were racist. So anything he did after those tweets, we have to be skeptical and we have to reject, because there's no way he's irredeemable. Now, he was 16 at the time, doing what every 16-year-old should do. And I don't mean every 16-year-old should go out and tweet racist things. That's not what I mean. He made some mistakes. He was 16. He wasn't 27. He was probably being influenced by something he saw on TV and he thought was funny. And nobody was around him to say, hey, man, that ain't cool. You shouldn't have done that. And then he forgot about it, and he's probably grown quite a bit. Think about who you were when you were 16 versus who you were when you were 22. We're not talking about somebody who's running for public office. Not that it should matter, because I think 16, you're still a child. Yeah, I don't care if they put you in front of the UN and have you cry about climate change. You're still a child when you're 16 years old. So you're 22, you donate $1 million to a children's hospital, and you are thanked by some reporter named Aaron Calvin, who goes back, he just goes back 6, 7, 10 years. What did you just search? Did you just search his tweets? Drop the N-word in the search bucket there and on Twitter and just pray that something comes back? Well, and here's where it gets even better. The reporter, Aaron Calvin, says he was just doing a routine background check on this profile he did, which is BS. Turns out, though, that Aaron Calvin, the reporter who dug up the old tweets on Carson King, he has bad tweets in his past, and where he's using the N-word and saying all kinds of horrible things. So, the Des Moines Register, this paper, the local paper there in Des Moines, Iowa, they have a guy named Aaron Calvin doing profiles and background checks on subjects they're writing profiles on, when they themselves, the Des Moines Register, didn't do any background checks on the people they have doing the background checks. Amazing. So now, this guy, Aaron Calvin, the reporter who exposed Carson King for his tweets of a 16-year-old, is now getting the backlash, and the Des Moines Register is looking into his old tweets. It's going to keep going back and 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 back. So, yeah, this is it's an amazing story. I didn't know who he was until last night. I mean, I know this was like a feel-good story, but now, no, Anheuser-Busch is cutting them off. We're not giving you your year of beer. We'll match your donation to the Children's Hospital. And now this guy's going around apologizing for what he had done when he was 16 years old. And now it's the cancel not lest ye be canceled. There you go. That is the lesson there. So I hope we get over this. I really do. Or at least, when you say, okay, you were 16, you were referencing some TV show that you were influenced by when you were a stupid 16-year-old, and we can just omit that. Maybe not put it in as a footnote or at all at the end of the nice little puff piece in your local newspaper. Why? What good does that do? Now, are you a mayoral candidate? And 10 years ago at age 27, you said you have little or no respect or admiration for police, and now, 10 short years later, still as an adult, you want to lead the police? No, that's different. So this is not a double standard with regards to the Tammy Sawyer tweets and that controversy from last week. This guy was a kid, and he's not asking to be your president or your mayor or your representative. All he wanted to do was give $1 million to a children's hospital. That's all. And it should have ended there. Oh, but who is he? Let's find the tweets. Let's find everything he's ever uttered as a child. And so let's ruin this really cool thing that happened to him. This is just a great illustration of how the internet can be the best and worst place in the world. All these people reacted to his sign because they saw it. It went viral. And $1 million gets pumped into his Venmo. He's like, what the hell? What do I do with this? Well, let's help some sick children. Not so fast, Carson King. You'll never get away with it. What? Never get away with what? Giving $1 million to sick kids? All right, no good deed goes unpunished, as they say. All right, the Joker movie is coming out. People are up in arms about how it portrays the Joker and what kind of effect it could have on moviegoers. I don't know. Did anybody kind of have these same concerns about John Wick or any other violent movie? We shall see. But coming up, forget this impeachment stuff. Forget the quid pro quo. There is a controversy going on in the Ukraine that is way, way more egregious than anything President Trump and President Zelensky ever could be a part of. And I'll tell you what that is next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News Update. President Trump says the summary of his call to the president of Ukraine makes it clear there was no quid pro quo. He was not threatening to withhold military aid unless there was an investigation of the Bidens.
No pressure. The way you had that built up, that call, it was going to be the call from hell. It turned out to be a nothing call other than a lot of people said, I never knew you could be so nice.
The Democrats are making it clear they're moving forward with an impeachment inquiry. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer.
This document demonstrates that President Trump made it abundantly redundantly clear to the president of the Ukraine that he wanted him to investigate his political opponent.
CBS's Jonathan Turley.
Trump is insisting that he withheld that $400 million to try to put pressure on the Europeans to pony up. So the transcript will help him there.
CBS News Update. I'm Jim Shenlevy.
Your dog is a furry member of your family, and they deserve the highest level of care. Dogtopia has award-winning daycare, boarding, and spa services. They are the safest, cleanest, and most transparent dog daycare and boarding option for you. The best part? You can check in with your dog anytime on the video stream on your phone. Dogtopia, located at Carriage Crossing. Find out more at dogtopia.com to schedule your dog's best day ever.
This is Clark Howard. There was recently really outstanding news. The average credit score of Americans is at the highest it's ever been since modern credit scoring came around. People are handling credit better than they have in the past overall. But at the same time, Americans are carrying much more debt than they have ever. The reason why those two things are not in conflict is interest rates have been lower. So people generally have been more able to make payments. But at the same time, the overall amount of debt that we have to handle is rising. And that's a long-term danger to you. I want you to figure out, take the time to see how much total debt you've got. And if the debt you have is pretty scary versus your income, then it's time for you to stop borrowing more and start paying down that debt.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend my Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. But thankfully, there's Home Advisor. Home Advisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. You can read reviews of the pros, check their availability, and even book appointments online. And what my wife loves most is that Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Go to homeadvisor.com or download the free app to get started.
Home Advisor. If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining, bad odors, and lead with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to wavebestwater.com. That's wavebestwater.com.
All right.
Yes, have some.
Welcome back to the Nation of Jake on the Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990 on this transcript day. That's right. That's right. Impeachment day, transcript day. That is the news of the hour, of the day, of the week. The bombshell of the century of the week. We've got all kinds of reaction to this transcript of a call on July 25th between President Donald Trump and President of the Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky. And it's pretty much like everybody's seeing what they want to see. Your entire Twitter timeline or on Facebook, Republicans are saying, see, no quid pro quo. There's nothing there. There's no there. These are not impeachable offenses. The whistleblower, it's all hearsay. And of course, the Democrats, because they've already firmly planted their feet in the impeachment camp, they're saying, oh no, it's worse. Not only is it exactly what we thought, it's even worse than we thought. So we have no choice but to impeach. Donald Trump says the call was impeccable. The Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, says the call was impeachable. It just depends on if you like Trump, you agree with Donald Trump. If you hate Trump, you agree with Nancy Pelosi. And now, it just so happens, Volodymyr Zelensky, president of Ukraine, and Donald Trump, president of the United States, are together in New York City. And they meet now amid this controversy over the call. And our reporters are there on the scene. Let's take a listen.
President Zelensky, have you felt any pressure from President Trump to investigate Joe Biden and Hunter Biden?
I think you read everything.
So I think you read text. I'm sorry, but I don't want to be involved to democratic, open elections of USA. No, you heard that we had, I think, good phone call. It was normal. We spoke about many things, and so I think, and you read it, that nobody pushed me. Yes.
In other words, no pressure.
All right, nobody push me. You hear phone call, you not hear maybe, but you read what is how you say transcript. You hear call. You hear call like I hear call. You read call though. I mean, I hear call, but you read call. There's no pressure in the how you say election. Oh, I got a little French there, and I apologize. There you go, Volodymyr Zelensky saying, "Look, you read what you read. You read the same transcript. Is there anything there? I don't know. You read it." So that's his answer. I hope somebody asks Volodymyr Zelensky about this, a different controversy. This has nothing to do with the president. This has nothing to do with impeachment. This does have everything to do with the Ukraine. All right, this is an exclusive story from the Daily Mail. This is insane. She tried to kill us. Indiana mother who adopted a 6-year-old Ukrainian girl with dwarfism has been charged with abandonment, but claims her daughter was found to be a 22-year-old sociopath masquerading as a child. You heard that right. Christine Barnett, age 45, and her ex-husband Michael Barnett have been charged with abandoning their daughter when she was 9 in Lafayette, Indiana, and fleeing to Canada. But Christine denies that she abandoned her daughter, instead claims she was fleeing for her life. She says she and her husband were victims of a fraud. The girl they adopted was an adult con artist who tried to kill her. Christine and Michael agreed to the emergency adoption of Ukrainian-born Natalia Grace, in May of 2010 from Florida, and they were told she was 6. Here you go. This girl's from the Ukraine. She needs a loving family. She's 6 years old. Within a year, Christine claims Natalia tried to push her onto an electric fence, that Natalia poured bleach into her coffee, and then also threatened to stab the Barnetts in their sleep. Natalia was treated by mental health specialists who determined she was an adult and pressed for courts to have her birth certificate changed. In 2012, Marion County Superior Court supervisor in Indianapolis decided Natalia was born in 1989 based upon medical evidence. I guess maybe dental records. The Barnetts moved to Canada and left Natalia in an apartment in Lafayette. A September 11th affidavit of probable cause obtained by Daily Mail TV states that experts carried out bone density tests on Natalia in June of 2010 and concluded she was 8 years old. So, is she 8? Is she 22? Tippecanoe County Sheriff's Department alleged that Natalia was a child when they abandoned her in 2013. An arrest warrant was issued. Both Michael and Catherine surrendered to authorities and have been released on bail. So I am confused. There were bone density tests done in 2010, and it determined she was 8. And so I guess by the time that she would have been 9 after those tests, that's when Christine and Michael decided to bail, saying, we got to get to Canada. She's trying to pour bleach in my coffee. She's trying to push us onto electric fences. This is a movie, man. This is insane. This is like a horror movie, isn't it? You've got Ukrainian adults masquerading as children. Imagine that. Imagine adopting a kid from the Ukraine, an emergency adoption at that, only to find out that you just adopted an ungrateful 22-year-old who smokes cigarettes and threatens you. I don't know that she smokes cigarettes, but that would be terrifying, wouldn't it? So I would love somebody to ask Volodymyr Zelensky about this. Is this a common occurrence? Is this life imitating art? G-Man, what was the name of that movie? Was it called Orphan? Yeah, it's a movie called Orphan, where I guess a young-looking adult poses as a child and gets adopted and then terrorizes her adoptive parents. But this is for real, happening in Indiana. So, I mean, this is a lot more concerning than anything I heard said by Donald Trump or Volodymyr Zelensky or read in that transcript. I'm just telling you my feelings on it, because this is all based on feeling. And you got a lot of Democrats who are saying, yeah, but we feel like Donald Trump is a bad guy and needs to be impeached. We feel like maybe we can't beat him with our own Democrat presidential candidates because they're all Looney Tunes. So we feel like we need to undo the results of the 2016 election through impeachment. So we'll talk more about how the president would be impeached. But at this point, this is not impeachment yet. You got to have votes. You got to pass the articles of impeachment. That's coming up in a little bit. And we're also going to talk about Bluff City Law and the ratings here in Memphis and beyond. Coming up next, there's a movie coming out, I believe, next week called Joker. It's got Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. Yeah, the same Joker you know from Batman. Joker from the Batman, but it's just about Joker. There's no Batman. It's just the rise of the Joker, right? And people are asking questions as to, this movie going to inspire people to kill? Well, they asked Joaquin Phoenix that. He was none too happy. We'll give you his reaction, and I'll give you mine next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Don't miss out on the best golf tournament in the Mid-South. Join us for the 10th annual Memphis Oral School for the Deaf Golf Tournament at the beautiful Cherokee Valley Golf Club in Olive Branch on Thursday, September 26th. Enjoy a hot off-the-grill lunch by Backyard Southern-style seasoning, an exciting helicopter ball drop contest, a full day of golf, and a delicious Outback Steakhouse Awards dinner with lots of prizes. Every dollar raised helps deaf children learn to listen and talk. Sponsor or register today at mosdkits.org.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com.
Looking for a cool way to get a new home comfort system without breaking the bank? The Advantage program from Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning gets you a high-quality home comfort system for one low monthly rate. There's no money down, never a charge for repairs, and seasonal tune-ups are free. Right now, get a new home comfort system as low as $99 a month and no additional charges ever. Call Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning today at 866-EXPERTS or visit ServiceExpertsMemphis.com.
For expert service guaranteed, call 866-EXPERTS.
See website for license details.
You've probably heard a lot lately about CBD, but have you heard about the company providing the highest quality CBD nationwide? It's Your CBD Store, located in East Memphis, South Haven, and Cordova. Their amazing staff is committed to creating a comfortable and educational environment while answering your questions and finding the relief that you need naturally. Your CBD Store, with the highest quality products in the industry, located at East Memphis on Poplar, South Haven, and Cordova.
The special event florist for the Mid-South is Lynn Doyle Flowers. They are famous for creating incredible floral arrangements and are available to fill even your last-minute needs. From the simple to the magnificent, their staff can create unique arrangements for your special occasion. Flowers always bring a smile, make someone's day, and for fast, convenient delivery, call Lynn Doyle Flowers today at 901-323-4521 or visit their beautiful new location at 6225 Old Poplar Pike.
Did you know that your potential customers look at your website and determine your credibility within 8 seconds? Make sure your business reflects the quality service you provide. Contact Control-Alt Design for a free quote today. Today's marketplace is very competitive and you need a professional web presence. Control-Alt Design offers web design at a fraction of what the larger firms charge. Control-Alt Design has been helping local businesses stand out on the web for over 20 years. They also offer logo design, business card design, flyers, brochures, and more. See their work today at ControlAltDesign.com. All
right, welcome back.
Yes, have some.
Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990. Online, KWAMTheVoice.com. YouTube. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at NationofJake. All right, so on October 4th, not this weekend, but next, Joker will be in theaters. That Joker. Love that Joker. And Joker from Batman, but it won't be a Batman movie. It's just a standalone film, a psychological thriller directed by Todd Phillips, starring Phoenix, Joaquin, and Robert De Niro, exploring the backstory of Gotham's most feared criminal. It's coming out, and there's also a lot of controversy with this film. Joaquin Phoenix, formerly Leaf Phoenix, if you remember back in the day, recently walked out of an interview with The Telegraph after a reporter asked a question about the potential for his new flick Joker to inspire violence. The UK's paper's journalist, Robbie Collin, asked Joaquin Phoenix, "Aren't you worried that this film might perversely end up inspiring exactly the kind of people it's about, with potentially tragic results?" Per Collin, Phoenix responded, "Why would you? No. And then he walked out of the room. And so the folks at Warner Brothers had to go and calm him down, like for an hour. He eventually returned to the interview to get things back on track, explaining he panicked because he genuinely hadn't thought about that question. And why would he have thought about that question? That you're going in and you're playing a comic book villain. Nobody asked that question to Keanu Reeves when John Wick killed 1 million people over the course of 3 movies. Nobody asks that question to Sylvester Stallone. He just put out Rambo Last Blood, where he pretty much kills everyone. There are plenty of violent movies out there, and very, very little worry that it's going to inspire violence. Now we have this just out. Joaquin Phoenix, when asked again if the movie Joker will incite violence, he says, "I don't think it's the responsibility of a filmmaker to teach the audience morality." Boom, and just walks out. It's like, this is not what this is about. This is about telling a story of a fictional character, a guy that you watched over the years. And listen, I like all the Jokers, except for Jared Leto's Joker. I didn't like Hot Topic Joker and Suicide Squad. I thought Suicide Squad was largely a turd of a film. It was awful. And I love Joel Kinnaman. I think Joel Kinnaman is a great actor, but that movie sucked. And so did Jared Leto, and so did Hot Topic Joker. But going back to like the first Joker, which was the campy Joker from the Adam West, Cesar Romero, and he was a good Joker. My favorite is Jack Nicholson. "Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds. This town needs an enema." That was the best Joker. "Where does he get those wonderful toys?" Yeah, that was a great Joker. The Heath Ledger Joker was good for who he was. And that's about it, right? That's all the Jokers we got. And that's all right. That's all the Jokers we got. Heath Ledger Joker. And this Joaquin Phoenix Joker, it looks pretty intense, sure, but yeah, I guess he's upset at the question. And he's like, "Hold on, why are you putting this on me? I'm a guy who's an actor. I'm acting in a movie. We're telling a story. Yes, it's about a white guy who kind of goes crazy, goes nutty in the brain, and giving the news with, mass shooters and killers. Why even do that? Aren't you just kind of giving credence to the whole idea that, video games cause this violence or what you see? And honestly, do you want people to not tell stories and not make movies and not be creative, and you want to stifle art because of what some idiots might do? Here's a tip. If somebody goes out and kills a bunch of people and blames it on seeing the Joker, they were an a-hole and they were going to do it anyway.
The Mid-South station with the most local talk and CBS News at the top of every hour. KWAM, Memphis.
This is CBS News on the Hour. Real news, real reporting.
I'm Jim Shanavy. On the sidelines of the UN General Assembly in New York, President Trump is meeting right now with Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky. Reporters asking the Ukrainian leader about that call with President Trump and whether he was pressured to investigate the Bidens.
We had, I think, good phone call. It was normal. We spoke about many things, and so I think, and you read it, that nobody pushed me.
A summary of that call was released this morning. Democrats are not backing down from their impeachment inquiry.
I'm Bill Rakoff on Capitol Hill.
The American people will not stand for it.
House Democrats, including caucus chair Hakeem Jeffries, say the transcript makes clear that the president wanted Ukraine to dig up political dirt on former Vice President Joe Biden.
That is textbook abuse of power.
But Republicans, like House GOP leader Kevin McCarthy, say the transcript proves there was no quid pro quo.
So I think at the end of the day, the Speaker owes an apology to this nation, and I think it's even questioned whether she should stay in her job.
Bill Rakoff, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Army is proposing to change the rules regarding eligibility for burial at Arlington National Cemetery. This in order to preserve a dwindling number of grave sites. Correspondent Cammie McCormick.
The Army will get public feedback on its new plans, which came after more than 2 years of studying the problem. Arlington National Cemetery is running out of space and looking to expand. But in the meantime, Army officials say if no changes are made, they'll be closed to new internments by the mid-2050s, even for Medal of Honor recipients.
Under the proposals, veterans who retired from active duty and were eligible for retirement pay would no longer be automatically eligible for in-ground burial. They would be eligible, however, for above-ground internment of cremated remains. Correspondent Omar Villafranca has an update on testimony in that murder trial of Amber Geiger, the former Dallas police officer who shot her neighbor dead after walking into the wrong apartment.
She told investigators she mistook 26-year-old Botham Jean for a burglar in her apartment when she opened fire. Moments later, you can see one of the officers begin CPR on Jean for 7 minutes, who is face up on the floor, bleeding from a gunshot wound.
Amid a growing controversy over electronic cigarettes and their link to a lung disorder, Juul Labs, the leading marketer of vaping products, has announced its CEO is stepping down and it will no longer promote its products in print, digital, or television advertisements. On Wall Street right now, the Dow up 172 points, the NASDAQ up 76, the S&P has added 17. This is CBS News.
The CBS World News Roundup Late Edition with Jim Chenevey.
President Trump held a series of meetings today on the border wall.
Every weeknight on the CBS Radio Network.
Ready to create your own income with your own home-based business where there's no such thing as getting laid off? If a billionaire entrepreneur spent 5 years and $20 million searching for the next big trend, wouldn't you want to know what he found? If you're serious about making money from home without having to leave home, then write this down. www.goherenext.com. You decide your income. Get the facts now. Goherenext.com.
Do you owe more than $10,000 in back taxes? The IRS has special programs in place that can eliminate or reduce your tax debt by thousands of dollars. With a call to ATA, you can stop the wage garnishments, levies, and tax liens now. The IRS is currently accepting reduced settlements and other favorable programs. You may qualify for substantial savings, so get the help you need. If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more, call ATA to see if you qualify. 800-805-1055. That's 800-805-1055. 800-805-1055.
Some new crew members are en route to the International Space Station.
Launch came after sundown, the Soyuz rocket lighting up the sky over Kazakhstan. It's carrying American Jessica Meir on her first space flight, along with the Russian spacecraft commander making his third station flight. Also aboard, a guest cosmonaut from the United Arab Emirates. He returns to Earth with 3 crew members who are on station now. Meir and Commander Oleg Skripochka will stay there until April. Peter King, CBS News.
Hollywood production studios are having a problem with what may be a computer virus. It affects Avid, movie editing software on the Apple Macintosh computer. The bug shuts down the Mac and it won't reboot. Avid says it's investigating. In the meantime, the rash of spontaneous shutdowns has caused chaos at some major studios. This according to Variety. The problem appears to affect the Mac Pro model known as the trash can due to its cylindrical appearance. Jim Chenevey, CBS News.
Ever wonder why Europeans seem to speak so many languages? Maybe it's because they use Babbel, the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Babbel's award-winning technology gets you speaking right away, whether you're learning Spanish, French, or German. And best of all, you'll remember what you've learned.
I always thought I was bad at languages, but after using Babbel, I can tell you I was just taught the wrong way.
Using Babbel's 10 to 15-minute lessons, you can be speaking confidently in your new language within weeks.
I was amazed that I could start having real-life conversations right away. It was so fast. Now I'm speaking Spanish. Woohoo!
No wonder Babbel is the #1 selling language learning app in Europe. Try it for yourself and see why Babbel is the quick way to get conversational in a new language, like Spanish, French, or more. You can try Babbel for free. Go to Babbel.com or download the app and try it for free. That's Babbel, Babbel.com, or download the app to try it for free. That's Babbel.com.
What, named after the dog? Welcome to the Nation of Jake on The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. Streaming live on YouTube. The channel is Nation of Jake. One word, Nation of Jake, all together. And you can follow me on Facebook and on the Twitter at Nation of Jake. Instagram, if you Instagram, Nation of Jake as well. All right, so today has been all about impeachment and the Ukraine and transcripts. Just trying to get all through it. Everybody's been tearing through the transcript, trying to find something incriminating so the Democrats can stick with this impeachment plan. It's a risky plan, is impeachment. It's pretty much admitting that it's your only way to get Donald Trump out of the White House. I mean, really, you're just admitting that your ideas suck and your candidates are all bonkers. I mean, you think about the 2020 candidates right now. You've got Joe Biden. Not only is he falling apart and going nuts on you and stuttering and stammering and gaffing everywhere, he's also implicated in this Ukrainian quid pro quo thing, because there will be people digging up information on it. It is a fact that Joe Biden admittedly threatened to withhold military aid to Ukraine if they did not do something he wanted them to do, and that is to fire a prosecutor who may or may not have been looking in to Hunter Biden's dealings with the Ukrainian oil company. He brags about it openly, but he knows he's above the law, right? He was the vice president under Barack Obama. He never lets you forget that. So that's something that happened. And Donald Trump admits, yeah, look, I asked the Ukrainian president, my friend Volodymyr Zelensky, I asked him to look into it, but I didn't threaten to withhold any aid. There was no quid pro quo. There was no this for that. There was no we will provide aid if you conduct this investigation, or conversely, we will withhold aid if you do not hold this investigation into Joe Biden. That said, the transcript is out. Everybody sees what they want to see. Nobody's asking Volodymyr Zelensky about the 22-year-old kids with dwarfism posing as 6-year-olds and getting adopted in this country. That is terrifying. It's another story that we hit on with regards to the Ukraine. But impeachment. That Nancy Pelosi, Speaker of the House, she's already caved to the far left, the squad, and the Stephen Cohens, and the John Lewises of the caucus. Now, again, with an impeachment inquiry, it has to start in the House, and the House of Representatives has to pass an articles of impeachment. All right, there's a process. You can't just declare that you are impeaching the president. You can't just go out and say, we declare impeachment. It's kind of like declaring bankruptcy. You can't just go declare bankruptcy like Michael Scott from The Office. I declare bankruptcy! And you remember that one? Well, Michael Scott was thinking about declaring bankruptcy, having some financial problems, and so that was his answer. Creed said he should declare bankruptcy, and he thought that he could just go out and scream it, that he could just declare it that way. I declare bankruptcy! Now, just because Nancy Pelosi comes out and says, oh yes, this is an impeachment. You know what Nadler's doing over in the Judiciary Committee? All these hearings, all these investigations he's doing. This is a formal impeachment inquiry. No, that's not the way it works. Okay, so on Tuesday, that's exactly what Nancy Pelosi did. She announced the launch of an official impeachment inquiry into President Trump. This is amid the increasing clamor over this whistleblower's complaint that we're supposed to see at the end of the week, that Trump may have sought the help of a foreign government in his bid for re-election. The announcement of the inquiry marked early concrete steps by Congress as some Dems call for his removal from office. But the full impeachment process, by design, is a long and multifaceted affair not undertaken lightly. It could require months and a great deal of political capital and partisan infighting to run its course. Here's how impeachment proceedings are launched and what it would take to actually remove a president from office. Okay? Here's how it worked. The framers of the Constitution, way back when, established impeachment as a way to hold a president accountable for abuses of power. The Constitution lays out some specific actions, think treason or bribery, that might lead to impeachment and removal from office, and it affords the president a trial to determine whether or not he's guilty. Now, this is not a criminal trial. This is a political process. Along with, say, treason and bribery, the president can be accused of high crimes and misdemeanors. So, hold on a second. Anything that we've got on the president, are they high crimes and misdemeanors? Is it treason? Is it bribery? The bribery might have been there if there's a quid pro quo, but there wasn't in the transcript. The term high crimes and misdemeanors was controversial when George Mason inserted it as a provision in the Constitution in 1787. The phrase has confounded lawmakers and constitutional scholars ever since. While that makes an offense impeachable is debatable. The process for impeaching a president and removing him from office is fairly straightforward, but all lengthy. Pelosi's announcement of the impeachment inquiry from the House committee does not mean that the lower chamber of commerce will actually take up a resolution to impeach Trump, just that there's a plan to probe the whistleblower's complaint surrounding the president's phone call. So they're thinking about it. You know, we are launching an impeachment inquiry. Like we're serious about inquiring whether or not. The first step in a real impeachment would be for a member of the lower body to introduce a resolution to impeach Donald Trump. During Watergate, the House didn't even get this far. President Richard Nixon resigned before they could even introduce a resolution to impeach Donald Trump. But now we've got an introduction. Let's say you have to have an introduction of articles of impeachment. Pelosi would have to direct House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jerry Nadler to hold a hearing to decide if the resolution will be put to a vote by the full chamber. Nadler would need only a simple majority in the committee to send the resolution to the House floor for a full vote. So you would need the entire House of Representatives, the 235 in the Democrat caucus, you would need all of them plus 55 Republicans. There's 435 people in that House of Representatives. So you would need all the Democrats plus 55 Republicans because you need 290. On the floor, all that is needed to actually impeach the president is another simple majority vote by those lawmakers present and voting. This is what happened to Clinton in 98 when Nancy Pelosi was decrying the whole process of impeachment. Clinton and Andrew Johnson are the only two American presidents ever to be impeached by the House of Representatives, by the way. Nixon was never impeached. He resigned before they could even bring it to the floor. Now, just because a president is impeached does not mean he will be removed from office. And in this case, with Donald Trump, it's very unlikely he'd be removed from office because it has to go through a trial in the Senate. The trial is meant to decide whether the president has committed a crime. The procedure for the trial is set up by Senate leadership, which would be Cocaine Mitch in this case. During a trial in the Senate, House lawmakers serve as so-called managers who basically fill the role that prosecutors would in a criminal trial and present evidence against the president. The president is represented by his own counsel. Hopefully, it would not be Rudy Giuliani in a trial, impeachment trial in the Senate. The Chief Justice of the Supreme Court presides over the trial. That would be John Roberts. And the Senate acts as the jury, listening to arguments from both sides before ignoring those arguments and voting along party lines. That's not written here, but that's exactly what would happen. They would deliberate and vote on whether to remove the president from office. It takes 2/3 vote to convict a president. Well, so that's going to be real tough. That's what you need, 2/3. So you need a supermajority to get that done, or you just need clear and convincing evidence that the president is a total crook. So as far as how we got here to where we are now, Trump's controversial conversation with the Ukrainian president is not the first time they've tried to impeach him or they've mentioned impeachment. A specter of impeachment has loomed over his presidency since before he ever took office. You have the Mueller investigation. You have multiple tries by Representatives Al Green to bring forth articles of impeachment. Billionaire Tom Steyer's need to impeach campaign. And that's part of the problem with this, you guys, is that they've been crying impeachment at every little thing, and it's just become a boy who cried wolf situation here. I mean, if you're always yelling impeachment, people at some point start rolling their eyes. Impeachable offense. Oh, yeah. Bombshell, we got him. Oh, yeah. Caught red-handed. Got him. Oh, yeah. Walls are closing in. Okay, sure. Let me know when it's for real. I mean, we had an entire month when we talked about all that stuff. But now we have this, the announcement of a formal impeachment inquiry marks the first time that Nancy Pelosi has yielded to the demands of her fellow Democrats on this impeachment matter. I mean, she has been trying to stave off impeachment, saying this could backfire. This could backfire on us. This is not a good idea. The American public does not want to see the president impeached. The calls for impeachment or the support, public support for impeachment is very low. It's like 35% maybe. So again, this is a political process. So we will see if Nancy Pelosi allows one of her lower house members to actually bring about this resolution to impeach the president, because then she has to put everybody on record. And that means a lot of moderate Democrats from swing states and those districts, they have to go on record. And if they vote to impeach the president and they do not get him out of office, they could be in trouble. And it's going to be really hard to get him out of office when the Republicans control the Senate. It's a losing play. The real play here is that you've got Donald Trump, who's a polarizing guy. I don't want to call him an unpopular president at this point. I mean, he's got pretty respectable approval numbers, especially given how he is portrayed in the media. Some to his own doing. Some because the media really hates the guy. But it seems like a real big risk and a low reward, high risk, low reward proposition to do this the way that Nancy Pelosi is doing it, especially having done this before that transcript came out today. And again, I mean, going back to the transcript, today, the transcript of the phone call between Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky and Donald Trump came out, and everybody's seeing what they want to see. Now, do they see a situation like with every president? I mean, listen, the dynamic with the United States and our allies always has a hint of quid pro quo. I mean, really, what doesn't? And when you're negotiating or when you're dealing with anybody in that kind of dynamic, if I've got something you want, regardless if we're talking about it or not, it could be not even the subject of the conversation. I mean, think about salesman and client. Well, anytime that salesman is talking to a client, there's always the implication that, hey, if you do something I don't like, I'm not buying from you anymore. Like, he has the leverage. Maybe he's not wielding the leverage, but the client has the leverage in that situation. So you might feel compelled, say, to go play golf with this guy or go to his housewarming party. Or better yet, how about this? How about this? You're a sales guy. You're out there trying to put food on the table for your family, trying to pay your mortgage. And you got a client. You got a client, a big-time client of yours, an account that's worth a lot of money to you. Big commissions on this. This is how you make your nut, right? This is the guy. He's your biggest account, right? And this guy from your biggest account says, hey, my kid is selling Girl Scout cookies, and I was hoping maybe you could buy some. You going to buy these cookies? What are you saying? How are you answering that? He didn't say anything about, hey, I won't do business with you unless you buy these cookies. This is just a friendly conversation. Oh, hey, by the way, my kid's selling Girl Scout cookies. How many boxes can I put you down for? What do you say to him? You say, nah, I don't eat sugar. Nah, I've already bought some cookies from another kid. Oh, my kid's a Girl Scout too. No, I'm not doing that. No, shove it up your butt. No, you're not going to say any of those stuff. You know what you're going to do? You're going to stroke a check and you're going to buy the cookies. And then you're going to get some Thin Mints. You're going to put in your freezer. They're going to stay there for 5 years. Or you're going to eat them. I mean, depending on whatever. You say, you know what? I'll buy a few boxes from you. Now, he didn't hold it above your head. There was no quid pro quo, but you still kind of felt obligated to do what he wanted you to do, right? So maybe there is that, but that doesn't go away. You can't blame somebody for that. You could have said no. You just didn't feel comfortable saying no, did you? Now, maybe put you on the spot a little bit, but that's just the deal, right? That's just the relationship. And that's a relationship that the U.S. has with many, many other countries. And that is the relationship the president of the United States, regardless of who it is going to have with the leaders of many, many other countries. That is the same relationship that the federal government has with the states. Seriously, within our own country, it's quid pro quo all the time. The federal government says you will follow these protocols or you will not get federal funding all the time. States do it to cities. State governments say if you are not in accordance with our state law or our regulation, then you are not getting funding from the state. We will withhold funding. It happens all the time. But it wasn't explicit in the phone call. And you kind of need that smoking gun. You kind of need that clear and convincing evidence of wrongdoing, high crimes and misdemeanors, however you want to put it, for an impeachment trial. Something this high stakes, you got to have it. So that's kind of where you are. Now, if you want to indict the whole process, say, you know what, we have too many dealings with other countries, and we shouldn't have this relationship with these countries the way we do. Well, this balance of power is not what we're about. Then you just need to start over, because that's the way it is. You just need to find a new gig, like the salesman. And if he doesn't like to always have to go and placate his clients, then find something else to do. All right, coming up, Bluff City Law. Yeah, debuted on Monday. We gave a review yesterday. How did everybody like it? How did it do in the ratings in Memphis and beyond? We will talk more Bluff City Law next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
For baby boomers, here's something to think about. Will you have enough income during your retirement? Are you absolutely sure? Do you understand the difference between growth and income? How about bonds and bond funds? Are you 100% ready for RMDs? Do you have an estate plan? If you've said no to any of these, we can help. Right now, log on to theretirementincomeDoctor.com and tune in our brand new radio show right here, Saturday mornings at 10 a.m.
When's the last time you looked at the windows in your house? Not through the windows, but at the windows. Really looked at them. There's dirt, streaks, buildup, smudges, fingerprints, paw prints, spider webs, dead bugs. There's little white speckles. I have no idea what they are, and who knows what else. Now, cleaning all the windows in your house makes a big difference, but it's also a big job. That's why you need Just Windows Home Services. Just Windows has been taking the pain out of window cleaning since 1992. Just Windows cleans all types of windows, storm windows, screens, skylights, interior, exterior, upstairs and down. Now, I know I told you the company is called Just Windows Home Services, but they do a lot more. Roof and gutter cleaning, pressure washing, mirrors, blinds, ceiling fans, light fixtures, chandeliers. Look, if you've got hard to reach areas of the house, then you need Just Windows Home Services. Call for a free estimate, 751-3934. That's 751-3934, or get them online at justwindowsmemphis.com. That's justwindowsmemphis.com.
Stop everything you're doing right now and ask yourself, are you currently receiving steady paychecks? What about when you're retired? Will you receive a monthly check to cover your expenses and also have some fun? Dan Groban and Phil Menard at Servant Advisors Group call this mailbox money. It's the monthly check you'll receive throughout retirement. They want to help remove stress from your retirement. They don't want you to worry about if the money will show up or how much money you'll receive. The only thing they want you to think about is how to spend it when it arrives. Find out how to get enough money in your mailbox every month when you're retired. Call Servant Advisors Group at 855-260-1000 for a complimentary retirement analysis with strategies that could help your nest egg provide you monthly income you'll need in retirement. Call Call right now, 855-260-1000. Servant Wealth Management is a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Servant Advisors Group, LLC. Insurance licensed in Tennessee, Mississippi, and in Arkansas.
The special event florist for the Mid-South is Lindoyle Flowers. They are famous for creating incredible floral arrangements and are available to fill even your last-minute needs. From the simple to the magnificent, their staff can create unique arrangements for your special occasion. Flowers always bring a smile, make someone's day, and for fast, convenient delivery, call Lindoyle Flowers today at 901-323-4521 or visit their beautiful new location at 6225 Old Poplar Pike.
Did you know that your potential customers look at your website and determine your credibility within 8 seconds? Make sure your business reflects the quality service you provide. Contact Control-Alt Design for a free quote today. Today's marketplace is very competitive and you need a professional web presence. Control-Alt Design offers web design at a fraction of what the larger firms charge. Control-Alt Design has been helping local businesses stand out on the web for over 20 years. They also offer logo design, business card design, flyers, brochures, and more. See their work today at ControlAltDesign.com.
All right, welcome back to it.
Yes, have some.
I have the Nation of Jake on The Voice, FM 107.9, AM 990, online, KWAMTheVoice.com. We got a live stream over on YouTube, the YouTube channel Nation of Jake. Go check that out. You can subscribe, and you can also share the link with all your friends on the Facebook and on the Twitter, especially if you've got like 1 million followers. I would really appreciate it. If you were one of those people who has like 1 million followers on Facebook, you want to share my YouTube channel and encourage people to subscribe, then that would be great. I would like to have as many viewers as Bluff City Law did. That'd be fantastic. Did huge numbers in Memphis, the ratings of Bluff City Law. Of course, that would be the new NBC legal drama that airs on Monday nights now, debuted on Monday. I watched it, 9 p.m. on Monday. You can see Memphis on TV. That's right. Look, it's kind of odd because we live here in Memphis, and we can drive around and see it live in person in even higher than high def. Your eyes, depending on your eyesight, it's way high def, It's like live. I mean, you can go see all these places. You can actually go in some of these places. But it's fun to see your hometown on national TV showcased as the backdrop for this otherwise formulaic legal drama on NBC. And it's only been one episode, and the jury's still out. Jury's still out, get it? Maybe it'll get a little bit better. Maybe it'll be a little bit sharper. Maybe it'll be a little bit, I don't know, it's just less boring than it was on Monday night. But Memphis sure looked good, and wow, this did some really good numbers here in Memphis. Said that 73,000 televisions tuned in to Bluff City Law in Memphis, and that's a big number, we're told. That is a Nielsen ratings of 16.8% of TVs, 16.8. It's pretty big. Well, that's just in Memphis. That is 73,000 households in Memphis, the DMA, the designated market area, the footprint. This is market 51 in the Nielsen ratings. So that's 27 counties in Tennessee, Arkansas, and Mississippi. So that's a pretty decent footprint. Now, Nielsen's overnight ratings don't take the mid-major markets like Memphis into account. So you might have had big numbers in Memphis, but that's not really factored into the overall numbers. How did it do overall, and does NBC have a hit on their hands? Well, it's too early to tell the fate of the show, but regardless of the big numbers in Memphis, Monday's heavily promoted debut of Bluff City Law, lackluster nationwide, according to the TV industry press here. Nationally, the show about Memphis-based lawyers played by Jimmy Smits and Caitlin McGee, who want to change the world, lured 4.73 million viewers to its 9 p.m. Central Standard Time slot, according to Nielsen ratings reports released Tuesday morning. Meanwhile, 6.6 million viewers tuned into Season 3 premiere of The Good Doctor on ABC. I'm told that's a really good show. I'm told that's a unique show. I'm told it's a show about like a doctor who has autism. And his autism, he's very awkward with people, but he's like Doogie Howser. He's young. and he has autism, but that allows him to like focus on the medicine and the cases. And so it's a compelling show and something a little bit different, a different twist on it. Also, 6.3 million chose the 4th season premiere of the episode of Bull on CBS, and I don't know anything about that show. That said, those are shows that are 3 and 4 seasons in. Those shows have built a fan base. Apples to apples would be, how did the debut of The Good Doctor do on ABC? And how did the debut of Bull do on CBS? What was their lead-in? The lead-in for Bluff City Law was 2 hours of The Voice. Okay, that was a pretty good lead-in, but the 8.84 million viewers who tuned into the season premiere of The Voice, half of them left because you had 4.3 million viewers. I would love to have that many viewers. If I had 4.73 million viewers on YouTube, all my problems would be over. I would be a YouTube star. I'd be monetized and then demonetized and then kicked off and then put back on, because all my 4.3 million followers would clamor for my return. But even with the solid voice lead-in, Bluff City Law failed to get off to an impressive start Monday night, which is a shame, and that's reported by TV by the Numbers. The Bluff City Law debut disappointed a bit, it said. And here's what sucks, man. The first impressions are everything. They really are. First impressions with regards to the writing on the show and the characters. Somebody like me, look, if it didn't take place in Memphis, I would not give the show another chance. And that's just the truth. I'm not just trying to be a hater and a critic like I so often am accused. I watched it, and I'm like, you know what? I could have watched something else and been fine. And it's not even the only one. All Rise is a CBS program set in Los Angeles in a courthouse. It's a legal drama on CBS. That attracted 6 million viewers. So All Rise did a lot better. And I guess that comes on the same night as well. So we'll see what happens with it. Hopefully it gets better. And here's the thing about it. It did really well in Memphis, as you would imagine. 73,000 TVs tuned in Memphis. And you know who is taking advantage of that? Mayor Jim Strickland.
Mr. Strickland.
Mayor! Yeah, Jim Strickland. He's got the $1 million, right? He's got the big war chest. He can afford all those television ads with WMC. And he loaded them up during Bluff City Law. He mentions Bluff City Law in his ads. I'm kind of saying, hey, Memphis has momentum. Look, there's a big-time NBC legal drama set right here in Memphis. When's the last time that happened? Never. You know, during the previous administration, and the one before that during Willie Harrington's time, that would be a good ad for Jim Strickland. It's saying when Willie Harrington was mayor, we were known for the first 48. That's what Memphis was known for. Now Memphis has momentum, and Memphis is known for Bluff City Law, the legal drama here on NBC. That's what he should be spending his $1 million on, an ad that pumps it up that way. And I'm sure they would love it over there. They're promoting the show. They're promoting Jim Strickland's candidacy and getting a little money as a bonus. So, yeah, good for Jim Strickland. It's the synergy of it all, right? Bluff City Law, and then he's also running those same ads on Channel 3, which I'm sure they really appreciate. I'm sure they appreciate getting the money for the ads, but having Jim Strickland on an ad on Channel 3 pumping up Bluff City Law, which airs on Channel 5, I'm sure they're like, hey, come on, man. What are you doing? Yeah, Wolfman told me he saw the Jim Strickland ad on Channel 3. So if I'm the Channel 3 guys, I'm like, come on, man, Jim Strickland. No, we'll gladly take your $1 million. However, we'd appreciate if you wouldn't promote the content of the other station. You know, Bluff City Law. Bluff City Law. So we'll see I'm going to give it one more shot. On Monday night, I will watch it once again. But honestly, unless it's different, unless it's something good, something I haven't seen before, I'm going to check out. I hear that Blue City Cafe will be featured in Bluff City Law this week, the second episode. However, they're gonna call it something else. They're gonna call it Cooper Brothers Barbecue, but they are clearly at Blue City Cafe. Which, by the way, Blue City Cafe is underrated. Their ribs are great, and they got good gumbo. I used to go, when I worked for the old radio station, the rock station when I was a kid, if I did anything on Beale Street, I'd go, hey, give me a cup of that gumbo. Just give me a cup of it, and I would just drink it. I would drink the gumbo right there on Beale Street because it was that good. It's good stuff. All right, coming up, we've got the news cruise. Yeah, we got plenty of headlines to get to, and we'll get to them all next right here in the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
CBS News update. President Trump will hold a news conference in about a half hour from now, even as the whistleblower complaint on his phone call to Ukraine's president goes to Congress. California Republican Devin Nunes.
At 4 o'clock this afternoon, in fact, the DNI is going to transmit the complaint to the Intelligence Committee spaces where all the Intelligence Committee members will have an opportunity to read it.
This afternoon, the president met with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, who denied he was pressured to investigate the Bidens in that call.
You know there was no pressure. All you have to do is see it, what went on the call.
The president says a summary of the call shows there was no quid pro quo. CBS News legal analyst Jonathan Turley.
This one would be an impeachable offense if proven. Self-dealing is something that can constitute a form of public corruption, an abuse of office. And so this is the real McCoy. You just have to prove it.
A CBS News update. I'm Jim Chenevey.
At your age, you should know better. The Best Times helps you make better decisions that affect all areas of your life. Whether you're looking for the best place to move to in retirement, a new car, auto repair, entertainment, how to save money on medications, latest safety devices, home medical options, or financial advice, you will find all that and more when you pick up your free copy of The Best Times at one of over 250 locations throughout the Mid-South. The Best Times, the source of quality information for mature Mid-Southerners for over 33 years.
Don't miss Maine and Mulberry Live every Thursday morning at 8 right here on KWAM The Voice. Maine and Mulberry Live explores the crossroads of modernization and small-town tradition, exemplified in Collierville, Tennessee. Host Keith Essery sits down with local entrepreneurs, thriving businesses, city officials, and thought leaders right here every Thursday at 8 a.m. Tune in and learn how a town comes of age with economic growth. Maine and Mulberry Live is brought to you by John Green & Company Realtors, building neighbors for 40 years.
Start your day with America in the Morning, your daily radio news magazine. I'm John Trout, and weekday mornings we'll bring you the top stories and latest breaking news from our correspondents around the country. You'll get sports highlights, a business update, the nation's weather, the Hollywood Minute, and much more. So join us right here for America in the Morning.
Weekdays on your local voice, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
This is Clark Howard. There was recently really outstanding news. The average credit score of Americans is at the highest it's ever been since modern credit scoring came around. People are handling credit better than they have in the past overall. But at the same time, Americans are carrying much more debt than they have ever. The reason why those two things are not in conflict is interest rates have been lower. So people generally have been more able to make payments. But at the same time, the overall amount of debt that we have to handle is rising. And that's a long-term danger to you. I want you to figure out, take the time to see how much total debt you've got. And if the debt you have is pretty scary versus your income, then it's time for you to stop borrowing more and start paying down that debt.
I'm pretty handy around the house, but now that I have kids, I don't want to spend my Saturday installing a toilet or fixing an air conditioner. But thankfully, there's Home Advisor. Home Advisor helps me find the best home pros in my area to handle any kind of project. You can read reviews of the pros, check their availability, and even book appointments online. And what my wife loves most is that Home Advisor is completely free to use.
Go to HomeAdvisor.com or download the free app to get started.
Home Advisor. If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining, bad odors, and lead with HydroCare water products available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to wavebestwater.com. That's wavebestwater.com.
All right, welcome back.
Yes, have some.
The Nation of Jake on the Voice, FM 107.9 AM 990. Online, KWAMthevoice.com. And streaming live on the Facebook. Check that, YouTube. Sorry. Streaming live on YouTube, the YouTube channel Nation of Jake. You can also catch me there on Facebook. Not streaming live, but just, cracking wise. As well as Twitter, where I kind of get into the news. Get into some, just observations, maybe a little bit of back and forth with people, local and worldwide. Wide. Right now is a time where we hop on this boat and we talk about the headlines of the day. Headlines that include impeachment and some headlines that don't. On the news cruise. News. Exciting and new. Come aboard. We're expecting you. The news cruise. Full of exciting news. The news cruise. So relax and kick off your shoes. Welcome aboard the News Cruise, brought to you by our friends at Just Windows Home Services. You can reach them, 751-3934, for a free estimate. If you need your windows cleaned, a ceiling fan, chandelier, blinds, shutters, gutters, your roof, pressure washing, the siding on your house, or just a patio, walkway, a deck, they can do it all. And they can do it all for 20% off of that free estimate. All you got to do is tell them the Nation of Jake sent you. So call Just Windows Home Services. They've been in business here in Memphis since 1992. 27 years Steve's been at it. And he's done quite well because he does a quality job. So give them a call, 751-3934, or online there at justwindowsmemphis.com. All right, in keeping with the top stories of the day, we've got Mid-South lawmakers responding to the impeachment inquiry of President Trump. Now, this is just an impeachment inquiry, and essentially nothing has changed from what they were doing yesterday, except now Pelosi is on board. That's really it. They have taken no further steps to impeach the president outside of what they were already doing with Jerry the Nad Nadler in the Judiciary Committee. Now, he said, we're going to keep on with hearings, and we're going to keep investigating, but now the only difference today is that Nancy Pelosi has come out saying, yes, I support this impeachment inquiry. A real impeachment would require a resolution to be brought to the House floor, and there'd be a majority of congressmen would need to vote in favor of it. And that's going to be, that in and of itself is going to be hard to do. Because you got to get 290 votes, and you got 235 Democrats. You need 55 Republicans to get on board. You can't even get all the Democrats on board yet. And then you got the whole trial with the Senate and this Republican held, so it's going to be tough regardless. But just to be clear, nothing has really changed other than the posturing and the sales job being done right now by Democrats. But now you've got some of the delegation from here in the Mid-South who have weighed in. Lawmakers representing the Mid-South weighed in Tuesday after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi announced the formal impeachment inquiry of President Donald Trump following reports that he asked Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. Well, hold on. Well, that's not it. We know that he asked Ukraine to investigate Joe Biden. He admitted that. It was this whole quid pro quo that is not there. Trump responded within minutes, calling it more breaking news, witch hunt garbage, presidential harassment. And that was before he released the transcript today. We've got Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith of Mississippi. She said she's disappointed but not surprised. I'm disappointed but not surprised. House Democrats have decided to undertake a divisive impeachment inquiry, it's hard to overlook the fact that calls to remove President Trump started the minute he won the election, and the grasping at straws hasn't ever stopped. You've got Senator Lamar Alexander, the Republican, says the Senate Intelligence Committee is determining the facts in the Ukraine whistleblower matter, and I want to know the facts before I comment. And then, of course, Congressman Steve Cohen commended Pelosi for opening the formal impeachment inquiry. He released the following statement today, and it is long. Today is a historic day for our nation. The president has breached his oath, violated the law, and risked our national security. This week we learned that the president has abused his power and broke the law by pressuring a foreign government to investigate a political opponent. Further, he has moved to block the whistleblower report of that action being forwarded to Congress. No, he hasn't. He's going to release that. But there are these are the latest in a long list of abuses of power by this president. Blah blah blah. He said all this while he had a rubber chicken in his hand and one of those arrow through the head things like Steve Martin, because he is a complete and total clown. Is Steve Cohen. He's been one of the ones who has been calling for impeachment like since before Trump was even sworn in to office. He has impeachment Tourette's, does Steve Cohen. I mean, of course he's on board with the impeachment of Donald Trump. That's all he was. This guy, he had an intern go get fried chicken the night before the Barr hearing so he could grandstand about all this. This is what the guy is there for. He's an attack dog. And you also have Congressman David Kustoff. He's my neighbor, I think. He says, following 2 years of failed investigations into President Trump and 3 already failed impeachment votes, Nancy Pelosi is now making the reckless and irresponsible call for a formal impeachment of the President of the United States over unconfirmed and unsubstantiated accusations. Our constitutional duty as members of Congress should not be abused in order to settle political scores. Well, I appreciate David Kustoff's, I appreciate his statement here, but here's the problem with all of it, is I know that Kustoff wasn't around in Congress in the days of Bill Clinton, but I do know this. He sounds just like the Democrats did in 1998, because everybody loves impeachment when it's not their guy being impeached. When it's the other guy being impeached, they love impeachment. When it's their guy who is being inquired upon to be impeached, then they hate it. And that's just it. Is the dress blue and black or white and gold? It just depends on what you yourself want to see. Oh, we've got Memphis, the city of, is working to complete the city's first climate action plan. Oh, that's right. They're going to have a climate action plan for Memphis during the United Nations Climate Action Change Summit. It's got the world talking about how to save the environment, which is up for debate as to whether it's even in danger. But they've got a climate action plan for Memphis. So it's going to be an action plan in case we get severe flooding, stormwater flooding, and extreme heat, because we are most vulnerable to those things, says Director of Memphis and Shelby County Division of Planning and Development, John Zena. Zena, the warrior princess. I know John. I went to college with John. He's a good guy. He's a smart guy, and he has been tasked with developing this climate action plan. Memphis's plan focuses on reducing greenhouse gas emissions from energy, transportation, and waste. An example would be retrofitting streetlights throughout the city with LED lights. Obviously, LED lights are much more energy efficient and cost effective, according to John Zena, which, hey, I'm all for it. If they use less energy and they cost less money, that'd be good. That's fine. I don't see how that is going to stop any flooding, like those awful floods that we've seen. The flood's so awful that news reporters had to frame up their shots so they could make it seem like it was severe flooding. Meanwhile, down on Beale Street, the Grizzlies were playing. And I remember that. I remember seeing that. Because I was living in Atlanta, and I remember watching it on the news. Oh, the flooding is so bad, and it's somebody standing up waist high in water, and it's like, oh yeah, that was on Riverside in a divot where an intersection had flooded. Meanwhile, oh yeah, Memphis is underwater, but the Grizzlies are playing downtown. It's like, it can't be that bad, can it? So, okay, I mean, it's fine. Let's try to save the world from right here in Memphis. And we got somebody here, the Environmental Studies Program Professor at Rhodes College, Jennifer Schuba, says this is a really big deal for a city like Memphis because we're not known as being a leader in sustainability. And that means we compete to attract investment, to attract population with cities that are known as being leaders. People don't choose the city they go live in based on sustainability. They go to the city they live in based on their jobs, which one leads to the other, I guess. I know Jennifer Schuba, too. Our kids do karate together. She's nice. Here we go. Shelby County school teachers all to receive 3% pay increases. All of them. That's right. And that's part of the problem, is that even the crappy teachers, seriously, even the teachers who pass kids through when they know that they can't read, they're all going to get a 3% salary increase. Not just the good teachers. Here's what I'd rather do. Identify the good teachers, the ones who give a crap, and give them a 6% increase. And the ones who don't care, they get nothing. You get nothing. Good day, sir. So they are also going to have performance-based increases after the state releases the level of effectiveness score. So they should see the salary increase on their October 10th paycheck. I see everybody a raise. Just give them a raise. Look, teachers, noble profession, but not all teachers are noble. There are, in every profession, doesn't matter what it is, there are garbage people doing it. And I'm all for giving the good teachers a raise and all for giving the garbage teachers nothing. Hey, a man almost escaped custody at 201 Poplar. He was caught hiding in the bathroom. This isn't much of a story. Shelby County Sheriff's Department found a man hiding after he tried to escape from 201 Poplar. If there's a place to escape from, 201's a good one, because, man, 201 is not fun. According to the police report, Markel Cook, no relation, was cuffed to one of the chairs while waiting to go in the courtroom. He was able to slip out of the cuffs and hide. I guess he can pop his thumb out of joint and get out. He was found on the bathroom hiding. We've got the state of Tennessee is seeking execution dates for 2 Mid-South death row inmates. And they're just going through all the inmates going, hey, who here really needs to go? We need to get these guys killed. These are all people who were sentenced to death. Among the requests, Byron Black, convicted of murder in 1987 of his girlfriend and her 2 daughters. So he killed 3 people. You could kill him a lot. Fine with that. Tony Carruthers, convicted of first-degree murder in the 1994 slayings of Marcellus Anderson, Delois Anderson, and Frederick Tucker in Memphis. He was given a death sentence for each conviction. So you could kill him 3 times. Henry Eugene Hodges pleaded guilty to first-degree premeditated murder. These are all murderers and rapists. And rapist murderers. These are all bad people. I'm fine with all of them ceasing to be. This shouldn't be a controversial deal. And what else do we have here? Coast Guard has captured a narco sub. What's a narco sub? Well, it's a submarine carrying $165 million worth of cocaine. The Coast Guard cutter Valiant seized the narco sub. 12,000 pounds of cocaine. That must be the submarine that the Beatles were on. Because that's the only way they could have written that song, The Yellow Submarine, is if they were just doing a lot of blow down under the ocean. And our friends are all aboard. Many more of them like to snort the cocaine. There you have it. There's the news cruise. Maybe there are narco subs all around us as we're on this boat. All right, coming up, we'll get you set up for the Earl Farrell program. That's coming up next. Keep it right here on the Nation of Jake.
The Voice, KWAM, FM 107.9 and AM 990.
Tee off to support Memphis Oral School for the Deaf at the 10th Annual MOSD Golf Tournament on Thursday, September 26th at Cherokee Valley Golf Club in Olive Branch. Join us for a hot-off-the-grill barbecue lunch, Hospital Wings exciting helicopter ball drop contest, a full day of golf, and an Outback Steakhouse awards dinner with fantastic prizes. A day of fun for you on the greens, all to help deaf children learn to listen and talk. Register to sponsor or play at mosdkids.org.
This is Andy Wise, your consumer investigator, and I belong to the Crescent Club. All my Wise choices gather at the Crescent Club for mixers and private dining. The gourmet menu, top shelf. And happy hour? Hey, if you've never had a cocktail 9 stories high on the patio soaking in the East Memphis skyline, then hear this. I won't entertain my clients anywhere else because I made the wise choice. I belong to the Crescent Club, 6075 Poplar Avenue on top of the Crescent Center.
Looking for a cool way to get a new home comfort system without breaking the bank? The Advantage program from Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning gets you a high-quality home comfort system for one low monthly rate. There's no money down, never a charge for repairs, and seasonal tune-ups are free. Right now, get a new home comfort system as low as $99 a month and no additional charges ever. Call Service Experts Heating and Air Conditioning today at 866-EXPERTS or visit ServiceExpertsMemphis.com.
For expert service guaranteed, call 866-EXPERTS.
See website for license details.
If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, stop. Don't do anything until you talk to my man, James Underwood. James Underwood has been helping people like you navigate the Mid-South real estate market for more than a decade. So whether you're looking to buy your first home or you want to upgrade to your forever home, James Underwood can help make it happen. No gimmicks, no guarantees, just a rock-solid guy that I've known for 25 years. So now, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, hit up James Underwood with CryLike. JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. That's JamesUnderwood.crylike.com. All right, in just about 10 minutes.
Yes, have some.
You got the Earl Farrell Show coming your way. That's right, Earl Farrell's For Memphis show, and it is for Memphis. All right. He will have for you Jenny Garth from 90210 will be joining Earl today on the program, from what I understand. That's pretty big get. Ask her about Jason Priestley, her days on 90210. That's hanging out at the Peach Pit. And it should be fun. Having Earl talking to, what was her name on that show? Kelly? Yeah. So stay tuned for that. We've been talking a lot about the impeachment stuff, this phone call with the Ukrainian president, Volodymyr Zelensky, and Donald Trump. And, I keep going back to this other Ukrainian controversy. Earl, did you hear about this other Ukrainian controversy going on? This has nothing to do with politics, really. There was a 6-year-old Ukrainian girl who was adopted, an emergency adoption, by a couple in Indiana. And this couple says, oh, yes, we will take on this responsibility. This young girl needs help, maybe a refugee kind of situation in the Ukraine. And then it turns out that this is not a 6-year-old girl, but a 22-year-old woman with dwarfism who looks like she's 6, and that this woman terrorized her adoptive parents for 3 years, tried to push them into electric fences, pour bleach in their coffee, and threatened to stab them in their sleep. That is controversial, but you're not going to hear anything about that. You know why? Because it's not political. It's not political. Maybe you could make it political, I'm sure. People make things political all the time. Is this some sort of Russian conspiracy, to infiltrate Ukraine with adults who look like children and then plant them in the United States to terrorize? I don't know, but that's an actual story that's been going on and that nobody is paying attention to. Oh, because you know why? It doesn't get the clicks. I mean, it should. That story should get the clicks, but instead, this is all about Donald Trump and this thing. And with the impeachment deal, I just don't know where the big reward is for the Democrats. They know they cannot win a trial in the Senate. And this evidence that Donald Trump he colluded or he threatened to withhold, it's just not there. He threatened to withhold military funds to dig up dirt on a political opponent. It's not there. At least not enough to stage an impeachment of the president. It seems pretty thin to me.
The thing, and I said this before they came out and released the
transcript.
Is that's not going to be good enough. As soon as they release it, they're going to say, well,
it wasn't about that.
This is a patched together thing, and we want to see the
right. They're not just going to say, hey, you know what? We're just going to take our chances in 2020 with Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren.
Because they got no chance.
Because they got no shot, because those people are bonkers. So, just got word. Jenny Garth from 90210 is not going to be on the Earl Farrell Show. I don't know where I got that information. I think I got it. I think it was like a spam email or something. Somebody's been messing with me. Earl's next. I'm back tomorrow at 1. So long, and thanks for all the fish.
KWAM, your news and information station with CBS News updates every hour on the hour. KWAM.